Hi everyone, and welcome to a brand new season of TV Talk. I'm Sarah, and today I'm here to get you caught up on all of the awesome TV you might have missed this summer. Our first show that we're going to talk about is a perennial summer favorite, and that is Pretty Little Liars. And oh my gosh, was there just so much drama this summer. If you remember, in the spring when we left off, we found out that Allison's new husband, Elliot Rollins, might not actually be Elliot Rollins, and he knew Mary Drake. The start of season 7 addressed a lot of those questions. First of all, we learned that Elliot Rollins is not Elliot Rollins at all. He is Archer Dunhill, and that was the main mystery of the 10 episodes that aired this summer, was finding out who really is Archer Dunhill, what was he trying to do, and why did he marry Allison. Other than the Archer Dunhill drama, there was a lot of stuff going on this season. Hannah was dealing with a lot of the fallout from the risk that she took to try to save the rest of the liars from this new A that has been tormenting them. And so she was suffering a lot from that, and she actually went rogue throughout the season trying to deal with things on her own. There was, of course, all of the romance drama, people breaking up, people getting back together. The big highlight, though, was Ezra and Arya. If you were watching this summer, Ezra proposed, Arya said yes, but then they found Nicole. If you remember, Nicole was Ezra's girlfriend that he had started seeing during the 5 years forward, and that kind of put the brakes on things for him and Arya. So that was like one of the big questions in the season finale, was what's gonna happen. There were also a lot of surprising deaths throughout the season, and then also in the finale episode, there's like 4 of them. You can go look them up for yourself, no spoilers here, but it was a big one with a huge cliffhanger. And the sad thing is, we have to wait until April to find out what's going to happen. And even then, after April, we'll get 10 episodes and Pretty Little Liars is done forever. There's going to be a 2-hour series finale, TV, movie kind of thing, but after that, no more Pretty Little Liars. Marlene King, the showrunner and creator, has said that she might do a spin-off show that explores another group of people from Rosewood. Sarah Shepard, the author of the original books, she has lots of source material for Marlene King to work with, so maybe we'll get something in the future, but keep your eyes peeled April 2017 for the final 10 episodes of Pretty Little Liars. The next show we're going to talk about actually aired right after Pretty Little Liars this summer. It was called Dead of Summer, and it was a new show for ABC Family, or Freeform as they're now known. And this followed a group of counselors working at a summer camp in 1989. Were a lot of weird things happening at the summer camp, things with ghosts and demons and lots of supernatural horror kind of things. But one of the unique things about the show was each of the teen counselors that worked there had kind of a personal trauma. They lost someone in their personal lives, or they had to endure something, and that personal trouble plagued them and was used by the spirits of the camp to kind of haunt them throughout the summer. And the way they told this story was incredible, because all of the individual stories were interwoven into the larger overarching story of the show. This show had one of the best twists I have ever seen in teen summer television. I would not say it was high quality, but I definitely did not see it coming, and I was engrossed throughout the entire 10 episodes. The show ended with a very conclusive wrap-up of the storyline. All of the major plot threads that were brought up throughout the season were addressed and resolved, but the producers did leave some wiggle room for future seasons. In fact, they already have seasons 2 and 3 planned. Season 2 will kind of flash back to the 1970s when Deb, the camp director, from the first season, was a camper, and kind of look at how Camp Stillwater became haunted and why it has such a draw for the supernatural. And the proposed season 3 would flash forward to 2004, where one of the counselors from the first season would now be running the camp with new campers and counselors. That's a lot of story to deal with, but we might not even get to see it. Dead of Summer had a pretty good lead-in with Pretty Little Liars, and they started the season strong. But by the finale, only 300,000 people watched the finale when it aired live. So those numbers were not very good, and Freeform has not made a decision about whether or not we're going to get future seasons. I'd be up for it. I think if you're looking for something to fill the hole that Pretty Little Liars has left in your heart, it's a pretty good fix. So hopefully they get future seasons. I'll be watching. Our next show also falls into the teeny bopper soap opera category, and this show is Scream, one of MTV's first hour-long scripted dramas. It aired its second season this summer. It wrapped up in the middle of August. And this season picked up where season 1 left off. Of course, we knew that Audrey was somehow in cahoots with Piper, who was the killer from season 1. And this season really delved into how Audrey's keeping things from her friends and the rest of the Lakewood Five, as they're known, affected her relationships with them. And on top of that, there was, of course, still a killer that was out to get people. They introduced some new characters, like a sheriff and his son, Kieran, Emma, the main protagonist, her boyfriend Kieran. His cousin was a recurring character on the show this year that kind of added some mystery and drama. One thing about this season was we did get a conclusive wrap-up. We know who the killer is. And spoiler alert, cover your ears if you don't want to hear, it was Kieran, which when you talk to a lot of people, we all kind of saw this coming. The show did end on an interesting note, though, because it has not been picked up for an official third season. Kieran was in prison, and he got a phone call, and of course it was that creepy voice that, haunts all of our nightmares. And the show will have 2 Halloween specials airing sometime in October, so maybe they'll use that to wrap things up if they don't get an official third season. But we do have a little bit more Scream to look forward to, which should be fun, especially getting in the mood for Halloween. Our next show is one of the gems of network television from this summer, and this show is Brain Dead, which is airing on CBS. Its season finale is right around the corner. And this show is a little out there in the fact that the main premise is alien space bugs invade Washington, D.C. and start to eat politicians' brains. It's a little odd, and depending on who you ask, people are like, oh, isn't that already happening? But I just think that, especially given the political climate we're in right now with the upcoming election, this show was perfect. It was the right amount of summer fun and, sci-fi comedy with a lot of actually spot-on political commentary. Not necessarily commenting on candidates themselves, but more just the United States' political system in general. It was very funny and was able to mix this political humor with drama and action and kind of adventure. It was a very good, quirky, offbeat comedy. This show was a bit of a departure for its creators, the Kings, who are best known for developing The Good Wife, which ended this past spring. So it was a little bit of a change of pace for them. The cast was absolutely phenomenal. There are a lot of theater actors in here, so if you are a fan of New York theater, you'll recognize a lot of familiar faces. Megan Hilty, Beth Malone, Nikki M. James, and Aaron Tveit, who is a big deal in both the theater and film industry. But also, the show had a lot of TV veterans like Danny Pino, who you might remember from Law & Order SVU, as well as Tony Shalhoub, who's probably best known for playing Adrian Monk for a really long time. And all of the actors are so committed to their roles. Some of them are over the top, but everyone's just really invested, and it makes for an awesome, awesome show to watch. Unfortunately, again, there's been no word of whether or not it's going to get a renewal. This is kind of the case for a lot of summer shows where, it's just something to fill space until the good TV gets back in the fall. But this was a lot of fun, and hopefully CBS will see that, people have responded well to it, and we'll get another season next summer. Now we're going to move on to the online streaming platforms, and we're going to discuss the show that is, you all know it. It was the show of the summer, Stranger Things. This show started streaming in July, and just people went bananas for it. It's set in the 1980s, and it chronicles what happens after a boy goes missing. There's multiple investigations going on. His friends find a telekinetic girl, and they try to solve the mystery that way. The boy's mother is conducting her own investigation. The town's sheriff is. And along the way, as all these investigations are going on, of course, a government conspiracy theory is uncovered, and it all just goes on from there. Everyone's talking about this show. There's only 8 episodes, so you can get caught up really quick. People are loving it because of, the writing, the acting, all of that stuff, but also just because it's a good throwback to the 1980s sci-fi horror films, reminiscent of The Shining, lots of Stephen King references in there, and people loved it so much they have already announced a second season. It'll be 9 episodes, and it'll start streaming sometime in 2017. And our final show is also from Netflix, and this one is called The Get Down. And it started off, a lot of people were talking about it, and people haven't really been saying much about it since it premiered. It is Baz Luhrmann's latest project. You know him best as the man behind Moulin Rouge or the latest Great Gatsby film. This show is about the music scene in the Bronx in the 1970s, and it kind of chronicles the rise of rap music and hip-hop music and how it blends with soul and jazz and R&B to get the music that's very popular today. It features performances, lots of really good music from what I hear. Unfortunately, only part of season 1 is out. If you've checked this out on Netflix, there's only like 6 episodes. And that's because they've run out of money. This is Netflix's most expensive show to date. For those 6 episodes, it cost them $120 million. So the last half of the season, which will either be 6 or 7 episodes, will air sometime in 2017. Reviews have been kind of mixed. People are saying, this was really ambitious, but it's not his best work. But the 6 episodes are up, so when you're done with Stranger Things, you can go check this one out, and maybe you'll look for the new episodes in 2017. That's it for this episode of TV Talk. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, WMTV 1693. And while you're at it, go ahead and check out our website and all of our social medias. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you know the drill. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.